Ferrante. I'm Steve Pinot. We're coming to you live from the Inn at Villanova University, located at 601 County Line Road in Radnor. And, Coach, we come off a bye week, so we'll go back, I guess it's 10, 11 days now, down to Harrisonburg, Virginia. You guys start strong. You go into the fourth quarter with a 7-point lead, and then the turnover bug kind of bit you.
Yeah, it was we played really well, really, for 3 quarters. Unfortunately, it's a 4-quarter game, and our guys came out, and there was a lot of give and take. It was a really clean game in the first half. You know, there really wasn't many penalties. Neither team had any turnovers in the first half. We didn't allow any sacks in the first half. We got to their quarterback a couple times, and there was a lot of give and take. They had a couple good drives. We had some good drives. 17-10 is what the halftime score was. And then we got the ball in the second half, scored to tie it up. Our defense did a great job. We pinned them deep in their territory on the kickoff, and our defense did a great job with the first 3 and out on their series. And then we got great field position. I think we're at our own 46. So you're looking at half a field on our second possession, and we scored there. So now we're up 24-17. And then the third quarter kind of went back and forth as well. We stopped them again. We got the ball back. We had 4th and probably less than 1 on our side of the 50, and you know, calculated risk, I guess. We went for it. We didn't get it.
You didn't get a great spot, by the way.
Well, whatever, you know. So I'm not going to talk about referees or anything like that. But anyway, we didn't get that for, you know, it was, like I said, it was a little bit of a risk, but we had momentum at the time. So we gave our defense bad field position. They had the ball on our side of the field, and to our defense credit, we held them to a 4th down stop. We turned it back over on downs, and then the fourth quarter turned, and then we had the ball back in great field position again on about our 46, and first play from scrimmage, we fumbled. So now they have it on our 39. Now our defense is kind of back against the wall, and they took that down, tied it up. We drove all the way to their 21-yard line. We threw a pick 6. Guy went 80 yards with it. So now they're up a score. We went all the way down to their 12-yard line, missed a field goal. 3 plays later, their guy went 70. So now we're down 2 scores. And it just kind of went sideways on us a little bit. You know, we ended up with 4 turnovers all in the fourth quarter. We ended up giving up 3 sacks all in the fourth quarter. And, you know, they came out on top. So the bottom line is our guys played tough, and we were right there. They just made the plays in the fourth quarter, and we didn't, and that allowed JMU to win the game.
And I had an opportunity to talk with Chris Bowden before the game, and he was talking about the strength of their unit was their defensive line. He felt of the 3 layers on their defense at their defensive line, and they did a really good job. You guys have been so balanced all year, and they were able to kind of shut down the run game and make you, I guess, somewhat one-dimensional a little bit. Where, you know, then you get down, you got to throw the ball a little bit more. But you know, a really solid front you have faced that game.
Yeah, no doubt. Both their DNs are really good players. Their inside guys are physical and pretty athletic. And you know, I talked with Kurt after the game. They blitzed us 31 times. Didn't get near the quarterback. They sacked us at the end of the game with 3-man rush. You know, now it's a different game at that point.
Sure.
Everyone in the stands knows we're throwing the ball. Those 3 guys are just getting sprinter stance, pinning their ears back and going. They're covering with 8 people, so there's not a lot of open space to, you know, to deliver the ball down the field. And you know, it just worked out in their favor. Like I said, we just didn't play as consistently enough, and we didn't play well enough to beat a very good team. I mean, they're second in the country for a reason. So, you know, but our guys now, I think, I'm not a moral victory guy, but I do think our guys added confidence in that performance because they're like, okay, these guys are who they are, and they've done what they've done in recent years, and we're playing right with them. We just, you know, didn't take care of it in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and an opportunity, I guess, you know, to go into that type of environment, their family weekend, a sold-out stadium. I'm not sure you're going to face a tougher environment, even if you guys qualify for the playoffs and move on. The place was really loud. You know, you guys were able to accomplish a lot of things. So, as you mentioned, there's no moral victories, but you have to come away with a lot of positives. And you know, like you held them. I think it was 6. I think they had 73 yards rushing, and then they broke the one run for 68. So really bottled them up pretty much all game, and then they hit one late.
Well, it's the first time. Well, the second time we were under 200 yards rushing ourselves, and it's the first time they were under 200 yards rushing because I think they're number 1 or 2 in the conference as far as rushing yards per game. So, yeah, you eliminate that 70-yarder. I think they were 50 or so yards below their average anyway.
Yeah.
And then if you eliminate 70 more, our defense is right there. So it was just one of those things where, like I said, they just were able to make a few more plays. When you look at it, they went ball on our 39, 3 plays, touchdown, pick 6, touchdown, 3 plays, 6 plays, they scored 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So that's hard to come back on. But our guys responded really well, and we had a real good bye week and a real good few days of practice last week. And then, we've back on regular schedule this week, and I think we're heading in a good direction right now as far as our mental approach. Obviously, we're able to take a little break physically without having a game this past weekend. So our guys have done a great job responding, and I think, looking forward to the next coming game.
And, Coach, we'll take a quick break. We're going to bring one of those guys up next, your senior linebacker, Drew Lite, who's going to join us after this break. So we'll take a quick break. We're live from the Inn at Villanova University, located at 601 County Line Road in Radnor. Tonight's show is presented by Miller Lite. More taste and only 96 calories. It's Miller time. Back with more Talking Villanova football after this on 610 ESPN.
Red 18. This season, you can share.
Not exactly the highlight we were looking for. I don't know how I get myself out of that one, but
Go ahead, do your reading.
I'm not in charge of the buttons on that one, guys. But now we're live from the Inn at Villanova University, located at 601 County Line Road in Radnor. Tonight's show is presented by Miller Lite. More taste and only 96 calories. It's Miller time, and we're joined by senior linebacker Drew Lite, who wasn't on the field for that touchdown.
Yeah, how about our first touchdown throw to Changa Hodge as the highlight, as opposed to their interception? But whatever.
But Drew, you've been just a big part of this defense in your career here at Villanova, and I come back to a lot of the big plays you've made over the years. I remember the interception last year at Delaware late in the game. Some of those kind of plays. I see you as a playmaker on defense. A lot of times I talk about playmakers on offense. How do you see your role evolving as a linebacker on this Villanova team this year?
Well, it all started back when my first collegiate game I played against Pitt, and it was one of those magical experiences where I just go out there and my hair's on fire. There's not much I can really think about except going after the ball. So I played really well then, and then as each year's progressed, I've seen a lot of different things and gotten better each year. But with this year, I'm with the oldest guy on our defense along with Julian and Chuck. But I see myself as a playmaker, but I also see myself more as a leader and try to get the young guys along with me.
In that Pittsburgh game, right?
I remember well.
You remember the play?
Yep.
young Drew Wiley came off the edge, sacked Peterson, their quarterback, and Quaddy Roll scooped and scored a touchdown against Pitt on that play. And, Drew's been phenomenal at doing that. He's a great pass rusher when we do bring him off the edge on a blitz. He's good in pass coverage as well. Right now, Drew is second on our team in tackles. He's second on our team in tackles for a loss. He's third on our team in sacks. He is second on our team in passes defended. Normally that's a defensive back type guy. Yeah. Elijah Trent is first, but Drew's second on our team in passes defended. And he's tied for first in our league, at our team in forced fumbles. And I know you have at least one interception. Do you have two?
Well, the other one at William Mary got called back.
Yeah, that was on a bad call.
Okay.
Yeah.
Since you can't pick on the refs, but I can.
Right. Well, if he, I know he had at least one. The Bucknell game.
Yes,
yeah, you had a
Bucknell
pick,
game,
right?
yes.
And then I knew I knew there was another one, but I couldn't remember. So if the second one would have counted, he'd be tied on our team in second place for interceptions as well. So he's around the ball. He makes plays, and he's not always in the middle. So sometimes, when you're playing the position that Drew plays, teams can go away. You know what I'm saying? They when they run away from him, as opposed to a true Mike linebacker who has access to both sides of the center and both sides of the formation. Sometimes Drew's away from the play, and he's not going to make as many plays sometimes based on the position he plays. But just the stats that I just said, as far as where he ranks on our current team in all those categories. Shows that he's around the football.
No doubt about it.
And, so Drew, fifth-year senior.
Yes.
As you said, you're one of the three on defense. We have one on offense with Simon. And the other unique thing that you have, right, is your brother is here and on the team. So you were high school teammates with your brother, now currently collegiate teammates with your brother.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, your brother was medically ruled out 2 seasons ago, so he hasn't played the last 2 years, but he's still very involved and very active with the team, and he's been your roommate for how many years?
This will be our second year.
Second year you've been roommates. So why don't you share with everybody the experiences you've been able to have and how it's been to have your younger brother part of the program with you over all these years?
It's been great. Jeff, even though he's not able to play anymore, he has the competitive spirit. He wants to win every week, and how he can help however he can. And even though I wish he was out there on the field with me, he still does his part and is still part of this team. You talk to anyone, they know Jeff, and they know what he brings to the table with his passion and everything.
Yeah, no doubt. He's a high-spirited guy. Matter of fact, he almost got a flag against Colgate on the interception we had for a touchdown. He was the first guy out of the players' coach's box that was high-fiving guys at the goal line when we scored the touchdown. So you got to be careful about that. The refs gave us a warning on that, and I got a call from our commissioner of the referees after that weekend. You got to keep all the guys in the between the 25s. Yeah. But Jeff, like Drew just said, he still comes to lifts. He still comes to most meetings. He's kind of slowed down in that area a little bit, but he's on the field. So when we practice in the morning. So we have 6:30 breakfast. We're in meetings at 6:45, and then we go to positional meetings, and then we're on the field at 8:15. Well, that 6:45 to 8 o'clock time frame where our guys are in meetings with positional coaches and all that, Jeff's been on the field helping our equipment guy setting up the field with equipment and all that stuff. And then during the course of practice, he hangs with his teammates in the D-line position because he's a defensive end for us, and he hangs with the defensive linemen. And he's basically like Coach Pennypacker's student manager, student assistant coach. He does a lot of different things. So he's awesome. He travels with a team, and like I said, he's just and like Drew just said, he's a high-spirited guy, and definitely pumps his guys up. So it's been great.
And Drew, you mentioned leadership, and there's, I guess, different ways to lead and different examples of how people do. Are you a vocal guy, more of an example guy? You talk about having a young unit. How do you portray your leadership?
I would say at the beginning of the season, I was more of a lead by example, but with guys going down and new people having to step up, I think I've become more of a vocal leader so far.
Yeah, he came to the media day with me. Drew and Simon, because we didn't have captains yet.
Yep.
So I brought 2 of the older guys with me, and I said down there, I think I brought 2 of the more quiet guys with me to media day, right? And Drew goes, I'm not that quiet. I can talk. And Simon said the same thing. But I have noticed Drew breaking the team down more in the locker room, post-practice, those type of things. I've noticed Drew a lot more, calling directions to the defense during the course of plays, tight end trade or something, redirect the front, those type of things. And Drew's done a phenomenal job. And again, the statistics speak how well he's been playing on the field, but he's also been more of that vocal guy, which isn't for everybody, but he works hard, and we're excited that he's part of the program for sure.
We're going to have Drew stay with us for one more segment. We'll take a quick break now. We're live from the Inn at Villanova University, located at 601 County Line Road in Radnor. Tonight's show is presented by Miller Lite. More taste and only 96 calories. It's Miller time. Back with more talking Villanova football after this on 610 ESPN.
Game at the Hyatt House, Philadelphia.
I like that one.
After the first one, I thought it was our guy getting sacked for a minute.
We're talking Villanova football. We're live from the Inn at Villanova University, located at 601 County Line Road in Radnor. Tonight's show is presented by Miller Lite. More taste and only 96 calories. It's Miller time. And Drew, I got one for you. Back to my leadership point. I know where you get it. Your mom and dad. Because they run every tailgate for us on the road. They're terrific. Your mom's got your jersey on every week. Your dad's a former college basketball player. I got to talk to him a little bit about that. But just talk about the importance of family.
Yeah, I mean, my parents are great. I would not be here today without them. They raised me and my siblings to be well-respected people, and I really appreciate them, and it means a lot to me that they come to every single game. They've actually been to every single game that I've traveled to. Like when I was a sophomore there at South Dakota State, so they don't miss it, and I love them for that. I really appreciate it.
And they beat us there. You know what I mean? They're there. We come in the hotel, they're there. We're leaving the stadium, they're still there. Yeah. And they do a great job. They take care of all the other parents. The Coballs used to do that for years and years. And again, they're here with us again tonight, right here, sitting in front of us. And they used to do that for a long, long time. And now the Wileys have kind of taken over. I know Don Lucas kind of took that role when Dylan played for us here. And then, now Drew's parents are doing it. Yep. So they send out weekly emails to all the parents and all the supporters. And they are very much involved with Joe Maycoy and the Villanova Football Club and, the huge tailgate area that we have behind the stadium and all that stuff. So it's really a tremendous group of folks. And, away games. Hey, we're going to be tailgating in lot 13 at JMU or whatever the letters and numbers are that go along with that. And here's how you can get your tickets, and all the links are right there. So it's real easy for the parents, especially the younger parents that don't know how to go about navigating those things. Where is the parking? They all want to stay together. If you just come in the stadium on your own, especially an away game, you're going to go wherever they point you to go, and you're not going to be near all the Villanova folks. So they do a great job. So we really appreciate what your mom and dad do for sure.
No, Drew, as you get ready for Stony Brook this weekend, it's been a little bit different. You had your bye week. You had one early, way back after the Colgate game. But I don't know, Coach, and maybe your perspective as well, it fell when you guys didn't have school. So you're off school all week, and then you have your off week. But I guess I'll start with what are your initial thoughts of Stony Brook offensively, and what's a big challenge for you guys? What are the keys for you guys to kind of try to contain them this weekend?
I mean, every week we try to make teams one-dimensional, so stop the run. Most importantly, they have a very good quarterback, number 4. He's very versatile. He's got a good arm, and he runs pretty well. And ultimately, just like every week, it comes down to what we do. It's if we do the things right, then no one can stop us.
And I'm glad you brought up the bye week now. I thought maybe we would have said that before Drew got up here, because I'm interested as to what the player's perspective is. From my perspective, or our perspective as the coaching staff, I thought it timed up really well. Now, it's kind of late to have a bye. A lot of times you like it after week 4, week 5, and those type of things. This is going into week 8 for everybody, and it's really week 9 for us because of that week 0 game versus Colgate. So, I think where we're sitting now today, it came at a good time, and I personally think it was good to have no game coincide with no school. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I think it's very refreshing. Everyone catch up on some sleep, more rest now.
Because a lot of guys went home.
Yeah. Sure.
And we started camp in July for the first time ever. So preseason practice started July 26th, and now we're sitting here playing our next game October 26th. So I think it was really good from our perspective. Those that didn't travel to JMU were able to leave campus Friday and then not come back till Wednesday. The guys that played in the game and traveled to JMU, if they had the opportunity to do so, went home. Some guys left from JMU. We had to help get them sign a liability waiver and those type of things. But a lot of guys that lived in Virginia, lived in Maryland, went home with their families from the stadium at JMU. Some of the guys that live up north probably came back with us on the bus, obviously, and then went home for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So I think it was a good physical break from not playing a game. And I also think it was a good mental break from not worrying about school and having papers. And the midterms are behind us now, so hopefully we are refreshed both physically and mentally.
Yeah, and it seems like, as you mentioned, you guys have been at this for a long time, but you still got 5 games left in your regular season. So maybe it's not obviously, it almost split the season. You played 7 and you got 5 to go. So hopefully it's a good time for you. And Drew, we talk a little bit about your leadership and your experience. What's impressed you with some of your younger guys? This is not a senior-laden team. I mean, really, you and Julian and Chucky, and Julian's been out, and hopefully he'll get healthy soon. But what's impressed you most about these young guys you've been trying to lead?
I think their attitude and their effort every day in practice. I mean, a lot gets thrown at a young guy. I remember when I had to learn the defense or any special teams. There's a lot going on throughout the week. You got to watch film. You got to go to class. You got to be prepared to practice every day. And I just think that they've all had a great attitude, and they give great effort on the field, and I'm really proud of all of them.
Coach, have you seen that as well?
Yeah, no doubt. We're kind of, in Stony Brook, similar to us, really. We have some older guys, and we have some juniors and seniors that are first-time starters. So they're newer, but they've been in the program. And then we have the group of younger guys that are, making the Hayeks of the world and D. Will Barleys of the world, and those guys that are doing a good job. And then on defense, you got Ice Waxter, who's been stepping up and doing a good job. And, Elijah Solomon is now starting to get a little more involved with certain things and so on and so forth. So it's been good, and I think they've done a great job. I think it started when they were all together in the summer. These guys did a phenomenal job bringing the team together, and that was something that came out of our meetings last season and after last spring. The guys that met with me individually, and then when they met with themselves collectively, they said, we just got to bring it tighter. We got to build that chemistry, and that happens in the summer when they're here by themselves. We're around a lot less. We're not allowed to be with them as much. It's really them and the strength staff, and that's where you build those bonds when they're here, on those hot summer days, whether it's in the morning or afternoon, they're going through the runs, or whether it's the, the heavy-duty lifting that they're doing. And, Drew and some of the older guys, it's even a little more challenging in the summer because they have internships. So it's basically going to a early morning workout, then go do a 9 to 5, then come back and maybe do a little more after dinner, and then you're all living in the same dorm. That's the only time we really have a team dorm, because our campus is kind of spread out. So, you have upperclassmen living in the apartment-style dorms. You have the younger guys down on South Campus, a smattering of guys in the middle of main campus in Sheehan and Sullivan. So that's where you really can build it, and I think these guys did a phenomenal job. They had cookouts amongst themselves, player organized and so on. So these guys done a good job coming together, and for the most part, we've stayed relatively healthy. We are getting some guys back. We do have a couple guys that are still out, but it's a lot different than the previous 2 years.
That's a godsend and a blessing. But Drew, it's been a pleasure to watch you, and you've got a long way to go this year, but it's been a pleasure, and really enjoyed watching you play, and appreciate you joining us tonight for the show. So we'll take another quick break here. We're live from the Inn at Villanova University, located at 601 County Line Road in Radnor. Tonight's show is presented by Miller Lite. More taste and only 96 calories. It's Miller time. Back with more Talking Villanova football after this on 610 ESPN.
For a cool way to get a new furnace.
Back to Talking Villanova football, head coach Mark Ferrante. We're coming live from the Inn at Villanova University, located at 601 County Line Road in Radnor. Tonight's show is presented by Miller Lite. More taste, only 96 calories. It's Miller time. And Coach, we're joined by a national champion, one of your captains from your 2009 team. He's now the Associate Director of Strength and Conditioning at The Ohio State University, right?
Right, yeah. That's how you have to say it, I guess.
And that's Phil Matus. Phil, you with us? Maybe he's not.
Maybe not.
Hello, you there?
There he is. Phil, are you there?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good. Hey, Phil, we're doing great, man. How are you doing out there? Well, I know how you guys are doing. Shoot, you kidding me? You guys are third in the country. You guys are undefeated still. And first of all, just thanks so much. I know you're busy, and we really appreciate you joining us. Would love to have you here in person, but I don't know when your bye week is, so we didn't want to wait for that or if you already had it. But awesome to have you on, Phil. How you doing out there, bud?
No, I appreciate you guys thinking about me, and it's just awesome to be able to do this. You know, I remember going to this when I was a strength coach and going to Coach T's radio and it was one of those things that was like, you could just really appreciate how much goes on, how much goes into it, and how much people really appreciate these radio shows.
Well, I'm sure you already heard the other great news that I just heard today as well. Your mentor and your good friend Justice Galick and his wife Lauren just had their second child. I'm sure you already caught wind of that, right? That's exciting. So they just had their little son, Kane, and we're excited about that. Justice, obviously, up there with the New York Jets, and I know you feel really obligated to Justice for the career that you've been able to have.
Oh, absolutely. You don't even realize how many great people are around Villanova until you end up having to leave, which is unfortunate, but the relationships that you make there are second to none.
So I know I'm going all over the place here, but since you just got married this summer, congratulations on that, by the way. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it. You know Justice is going to put pressure on you guys to now start having a child or two. You know that, right?
Soon.
All your guys are doing it. Bugly, all the guys, you know, they're all having kids these days, so pressure's on you now. But let's switch it over to football. You guys got a big game coming up. You're facing Wisconsin this week, correct?
Yes, sir.
So I did a little research, and I'm looking at the stats, and I'm not a big stat guy, but I went and looked at the things, and this looks like on paper. Now, I know they had a little blip on their radar, losing this most recent week to, who was it, Illinois, I think?
It was Illinois.
Yeah, but I'm looking at some of these statistical categories, and this is about as evenly matched a game as you guys probably are going to have all year. Would that be accurate?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great football team, a great coach. They run a great scheme up front, and they're very disciplined. They're going to do what they do, and they're going to be a toughness that's existent there on the field. So they're known for trying to be tough and trying to out physical, and we just got to match it. So
yeah, no doubt.
We got a bunch of great guys, and our game plan. We love our game plan, and the biggest thing for our guys is just staying focused. And as many distractions as you know that are going on within that 18 to 22-year-old mind, it's just the ability to try and refocus, enjoy, live in the moment, play that play. If it's good or bad, kind of recycle back through, reevaluate, and then line up again.
Yeah, and in
So
this
just
world,
like any other team in the country, that's kind of what I feel everyone's battling, because I've been on the phone with a lot of coaches, and that's the consistent variable I'm hearing is these guys are getting so distracted momentarily, and then they lose focus of their job.
well, that's this world of social media that we're living in, right? I mean, you guys are third in the country now, so I'm sure they see that every day, posted everywhere. You know, whether you like it or not, these guys are always looking at their phones. And you know, your division obviously is different than our division. You only get 4 teams to go to the playoffs, and you guys are sitting pretty good with that selection right now. But you know, any little stumble, all of a sudden, you know, you're on the outside looking in at 5 or 6. So I know that you guys, just like us, want to keep focusing, and the main goal, as we all talk about, you know, the new coach speak is let's get to 1-0 this week, and I know that's what you guys are preaching to your team out there as well. Looking at the statistics, like I was just saying a second ago, total offense, you guys are way up there in the country at like 5th with total yards per game with over 500. They're up at 17th. Both you teams run the ball exceptionally well. They're averaging over 230 yards rushing a game. You guys are over 280 rushing a game. And then looking at the scoring offense, you guys are 3rd in the country at 49 points a game, and they're averaging 30. You're averaging 49 points a game. They're at 39. Then I look at the defense, and this is where something's going to give. You guys are 2nd in the country in total defense, giving up only 220-plus yards a game. They're 1st in the country at 194. And then I'm looking at the rushing stats. You guys are holding your opponents to under 100 yards, 90-some rushing, 93 yards rushing a game. They're 1st in the country, holding their opponents to 58 yards rushing a game. And then scoring defense, you guys have only given up on the average of 8 points a game, 2nd in the country, to Wisconsin's first 7.6 points a game. So what are you anticipating? I'm looking at 49 and 39 points scored and only giving up 8 and 7.6 on defense. So Is it going to be one of those 10-7 games, or are we looking at something like 45-42 games? What do you think?
Only Saturday will tell.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Now, you guys home or away? That's the only part I didn't look up.
We are home. We're in the Horseshoe. It's a noon kickoff.
That's got to help. Oh, good. We're at 3:30, so I'll be able to sneak a peek at a quarter or two before we take the field for our warm-up. So that'll be good. We go to our office. Yeah, as you know, we'll have our pregame with Father Rob, and then we'll have our pregame meal. We're there 4 hours before kickoff, so I'll be able to tune into a little bit of that in my office. So that's going to be awesome. So talk to us about what you guys are doing out there. Any new and inventive things you're doing in the weight room that we can share with our guys out here?
You know what? This profession is one of the best jobs in the country. I believe it's the best because I'm biased. But I learned from a great mentor and just continue to learn and grow over the years. Obviously, when I came out here in 2014, it was an eye-opener just because the amount of resources are available here compared to, Villanova and what we did and what we had to offer our student athletes, but it's all comparable. So I'd say the biggest thing is the number of people in each department.
Right.
So you're talking about a strength staff that's 5 full-time and 5 interns, and that's just football.
Right.
And then our senior director, associate AD, Coach Mick Murati,
right,
he oversees everything. So we're talking about 21 full-time strength coaches.
21.
And we got 14 interns.
Okay, yeah, that's a whole lot. Yeah, that's a little different. Yeah, that's a little different. Now, I will share with you this, though. Mark Jackson and our whole administration here at Villanova have really enhanced our situation because, as you know, when you were here and you were our head strength coach, we only had 2 full-time guys, and you guys had to do a great job trying to find volunteers. Then we started adding a few interns and so on. I'm sure you're aware of what we have now, but we have Kevin Miller, who oversees the whole thing, kind of like your Mickey, and then we have 6 full-time coaches now. This is for all the sports. It's not just for football. You have 5 just for football. And then we have a couple interns, and then we have the volunteers. So our weight room situation has enhanced greatly, and, our administration's done a great job improving our situation there as well. And as you know, it helps all the sports. So it's been great. And Coach Tucker, we had him on earlier in the year on one of our shows here. He did a great job, and he's doing a phenomenal job. And I know he stays in touch with you, and he stays in touch with Jake Cox out at Baylor, another one of the undefeated FBS teams in the country right now. So must be all these Villanova strength coaches going out there and spreading the good news and getting them guys going in the right direction. What do you think, Phil?
Yeah, I don't know. Good things happen from Villanova.
Hey, so real quick, I know you got to go to break, but Phil, as you know already, I think you know, November 9th for our Richmond game, we're honoring the national championship team of 09, which you were one of the 3 captains. I'm assuming you can't make it to that. you don't have to have your bye.
And it was pretty tough to say that I wasn't going to be able to make it.
Yeah, I was hoping it would work out where maybe you would have a bye or something like that, but that's late in the year. So we'll have to send you some pictures and, share some of the festivities with you because I know we're going to have a good group of guys coming back. I know Babaro's coming back, and Caesar actually stopped by the office today with his dad, and he'll be back for the November 9th. Recognition as well. So I know there's going to be a lot more guys out there. So wish you could make it, but obviously we wish you the best moving forward and keep those guys winning, okay?
Yeah, I appreciate it. No, it's one of the best things that ever happened. And obviously, when you're a player, it goes by so fast. But once you have that moment, and once you share it with all those teammates, you're never going to lose it. So I'm extremely grateful for Villanova and everything it's done for me. I'm proud to be a Wildcat, and what you guys are doing there is very special. I know Mark Jackson has a lot of good things in store for you guys, and obviously what you're doing there with the football program and everything in general. I'm proud of you guys, and I wish you the best.
Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate you joining us, and good luck against the Badgers this weekend.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you,
brother.
Phil. We're proud of you as well, Phil. We appreciate you taking some time to join us today. So we'll take a quick break here at the Inn at Villanova University, located at 601 County Line Road in Radnor. Tonight's show is presented by Miller Lite. More taste and only 96 calories. It's Miller time. Back with more Talking Villanova football after this on 610 ESPN.
How do you meet over 200?
Highlight we were looking for. We finally got it in. We're live from the Inn at Villanova University, located at 601 County Line Road in Radnor. Tonight's show is presented by Miller Lite. More taste and only 96 calories. It's Miller time. And, Coach, time to move on. Stony Brook Seawolves come to Villanova Stadium at 3:30 on Saturday. Come out with a 4-3 record, 1-2 in the CAA. Like you, they had a bye last week. They're coming off a tough loss to New Hampshire, a good New Hampshire team that we'll talk about next week. 20-14 loss. But a team that also took James Madison to overtime. So you know you're in for a dogfight.
Yeah, it's crazy how this league is. You know, you go one week to the next, and it's never the same. You know, you can't look at records. You can't look at common opponents and scores and all that stuff, you know, because you just got to show up each week and be ready to be in a dogfight, regardless of who you're playing. And that's exactly what we're expecting with Stony Brook. You heard Drew talk about, you know, who they are, and I mentioned briefly, you know, like I said, they have a good number of experienced guys coming back. They have Sam Kamara, who's a D lineman, who's a preseason All-League player. They have Heslop in the backfield on defense, who's number 1, and he's a real good player. Number 8 on defense, Augie Contressa is a really good football player. They've been there for a while. And then they have some of the newer guys, and some of their newer guys, like ours, are juniors and redshirt juniors that have been in the program, and maybe this is their first opportunity to start. And then you heard Drew talk about their quarterback. He's a junior, very athletic, very explosive. You know, you look at the Rhode Island game that they had. With 11 seconds, I believe it was, left on the clock.
Saw that play.
He was going to throw the ball, and instead he scrambles and goes through I think it was a 60-plus to 50-plus yard run that he scores on a scramble play to win the game at Rhode Island, and so on. So they have a lot of good experience. They're big up front on offense. They have great size on defense. They're athletic. You know, it's just, again, another CA opponent. And the record means nothing, because you look each week, and like you said, they went overtime with James Madison. Well, we know what James Madison is like as well. And then they play New Hampshire and lose narrowly to New Hampshire, and then New Hampshire goes out and beats Stony Brook, and then goes and loses at Delaware. And Delaware gave Pittsburgh all they can handle. So it's the CAA. It's just the way it is. You got to be ready week in and week out. And who shows up that Saturday? You know what I'm saying? So we have to do a better job than we did 2 weeks ago. We have to protect the football. We have to play more consistent, and hopefully keep it close in the fourth quarter and win it at the end. And that's the way these games are in this league. You look at a lot of the games, and they're one touchdown games. They're last second field goal games. No matter who's playing who, it's just that way.
Yeah, and both teams coming off a bye. Sometimes you might think there's an advantage one way or the other. Somebody says, I want to be playing every week, or we need rest, and we get some guys healthy. So, both teams coming off a bye, so no real advantage, disadvantage there. Just go out and strap it up on Saturday and go out there and play.
Yeah, I don't know if this has ever happened before. Normally, we're in a bye, but the other team isn't, and vice versa. So it'll be interesting. I heard Chuck talk the other day. We probably listen to each other's conference calls on Monday like we're going to give something away, right? It's a 10-minute talk, and people calling and ask about injuries and, all those things, but that's about it. But Chuck said what I did recognize him saying is a couple of years ago, he used to do what we all do. And what I mean by what we all do is our coaches go on the road recruiting, which we did last week. We give the players a couple days off, which we did last week. And again, the primary reason we gave our guys as much time off as we did is because it was also fall break. So there was no class to worry about. Sometimes that doesn't work out. They're in class but no game, or we're in game but no class. This year it just happened to coincide to be at the same time. Now, Chuck said he goes normal week. He says after the game, even though they have a bye the next week, he brings them in. I don't know if they do Sunday or Monday, but they bring them in for film. Then he said they go through normal week of practice, and then they give them the end of the week off, which is a Saturday. So we'll see. I mean, they have a little different approach maybe now with what Chuck said. And obviously we have our approach, which it sounds like from talking with friends in the profession and so on, a lot of people do kind of what we've done. And we'll see. We'll see who comes out and ready to play. Sometimes you start out slow after bye. Sometimes you're refreshed and ready to go. So hopefully we can start fast.
And, Coach, when we come back from this break, you've obviously been involved with this program a long time. It's going to be Football Alumni Day on Saturday, an opportunity for you to reconnect with guys over the years. I'd like to talk about that when we get back from this break. We're live from the Inn at Villanova University, located at 601 County Line Road in Radnor. Tonight's show is presented by Miller Lite. More taste and only 96 calories. It's Miller time. Back with more talking Villanova football after this on 610 ESPN.
My name is Lauren Rima.
Coach, some nice work by your special teams there. We're live from the Inn at Villanova University, located at 601 County Line Road in Radnor. Tonight's show is presented by Miller Lite. More taste and only 96 calories. It's Miller time. And, Coach, before we went to break, we talked about, it's a special Saturday. It's homecoming on campus. It's also football alumni day, and I got a chance to see the portal today. There's over 100 alums signed up, which I know will grow in the next handful of days before we get to the field on Saturday. And I guess just give me a guy who's been here for over 30 years. There's a lot of guys that have come through this program, but just kind of what Alumni Day means to you as being a part of this program for so long.
Yeah, no, it's awesome to see the guys when they come back, and a lot of them, depending on when they graduated, now have families and things of that nature. So it's great. I know they're having Alumni Day, like you said, this weekend. So any football guys that are out there that haven't signed up yet, you can jump on social media and hit the link, and they're going to allow them to go up to the O'Day Terrace on the third floor, and they can be up there during the game and so on. And then obviously they're all going to go to Joe's Tailgate in the back, the A2 parking lot. That's going to be a big to-do and a big happening this weekend. And, I always tell the guys, when they graduate, like I told Caesar today, it was good to see him, and Ben Agelano when he comes back with Colleen and them. I always tell them, guys, we get there 4 hours before the game. And there's a lot of sit-around time before we go out for warm-ups. Stop in and say hello. The answer they give me is, Coach, we don't want to bother you.
Yep.
I know you want to get ready for the game and so on. The real answer is they want to go to the tailgate. They want to spend more time at the tailgate. They don't want, they don't want to come sit in my office and BS with me.
They got a better offer than sitting around with the old coach.
Right. So, like the Bautas came back. Izzy and Bauta came back.
Their mom was one of my favorite fans of all time.
Yeah,
she was great.
After it. She had a megaphone, I think, and everything up in the stands. I think they had to take it away from her. But, but they did actually stop by, which was awesome to see them. They came to my office and spent, 15, 20 minutes and so on. And, some other guys have come by before. And, some guys haven't seen the new facilities.
Yeah.
A lot of them, like Caesar, couldn't believe today what's happening across the street with the new dormitories and the restaurant and the coffee shop and obviously the Performing Arts Center that's not even open yet. But, it's so much different. The landscape of Villanova, just the campus itself, for some of these guys that have been out, 3, 4, and obviously more years than that, when they do come back, if they haven't been back recently, they can't believe that this is still the campus that they went to school at. You drive down Lancaster now, and Caesar and I were talking about this today. You used to drive past Villanova. You'd be Ithan Light, Chapel Light, and then the light down at the corner where the gas station is. And then, there's Villanova. It's all on your right or left, depending on which you're going, east or west, and you drive past Villanova. Now you're driving through Villanova.
Yeah, Father Peter has used that when he's talked to alumni.
Yeah.
That's the very same analogy.
Now you're almost going through campus, and it's just different. And it's very impressive with what they've done, obviously, with all the building.
Yeah. Coach, we're going to take one quick break, and then we'll come back. We'll talk about a special alum who won't be joining us this Saturday, unfortunately. We'll talk about him when we get back. We're live from the Inn at Villanova University, located at 601 County Line Road in Radnor. Tonight's show is presented by Miller Lite. More taste and only 96 calories. It's Miller time. Back with more talking Villanova football after this on 610 ESPN. to Talking Villanova Football with head coach Mark Ferrante. We're live from the Inn at Villanova University located at 601 County Line Road in Radnor. Tonight's show is presented by Miller Lite. More taste and only 96 calories. It's Miller time. And, Coach, some real sad news. We spoke on the phone Sunday night. The passing of one of your former players, an offensive lineman, Bob Wright, a wonderful Villanovan, did so much in the business community up in New York City, Wall Street, a hard-working kid for your program, and just a tragic loss.
Yeah, it's terrible news, and I hate to end the show this way, obviously, but feel Bobby's deserving of a little bit of a shout-out. He played for us in the early 90s, and I kind of found out about it. I mentioned the Coballs who are here tonight, their son Andy, who played for us at that time as well. There's a group chat on social media, on Facebook, Phil DeMaria, Curtis Eller, all the guys from 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, when Bobby was here. And Phil each year tries to get a group of guys to come to a game. And they're actually coming to the November 9th Richmond game. They couldn't make it to homecoming because, you know, everyone grows up and has families, and schedules are schedules, and it's hard to organize. But Phil's done a great job organizing this group chat. So the group chat started out with who can make it, who, you know, it's been going on for a while. And then all of a sudden, Andy Cobaugh puts in there, hey, have you guys heard about Bobby? And unfortunately, he had cardiac arrest while he was working out. Yeah. He was in the best shape of his life. He was an offensive lineman who lost a ton of weight. And, you know, that was like October 8th, I think.
Yeah, it was kicking the pants for all of us involved.
And his brother texted me Sunday, and you know, told me that he passed on Sunday, which was just 2 days ago. So, and you have a connection with Bobby as well.
Actually, Bob hired my son Stephen, who graduated last year from Villanova in the business school, and he interned for Bob the summer before his senior year, and he had 3 offers, and he told me, his dad, I'm going to go with Bob because he's going to take care of me.
Right,
and he did.
Villanova guys taking care of Villanova guys, you know. So, I have more stories to tell, but I don't know if I can get through them.
Yeah, I'm with you, Coach. So it's a tough way to end the show, but Bob, we're thinking of you. We love you. So that wraps up Talking Villanova Football with head coach Mark Ferrante. Tonight's show is presented by Miller Lite, the original light beer brewed for more taste and only 96 calories. Miller Lite, hold true. Thanks to our hosts here at the Inn at Villanova. Thanks to Joe Gaines and Ryan Lennox. Stay tuned, just 6:10 ESPN when Villanova takes on Stony Brook this Saturday. Game time is 3:30. Our pregame begins at 3:50, and our next Talking Villanova show will be next Tuesday, October 29th at 7 p.m. For Coach Ferrante, this is Steve Pannone. Thanks for listening to 610 ESPN.
You've been listening to Talking